You've seen the accounting tab of the material master that there's something called as valuation class. What is valuation class? And how does it affect the value of the material? And I said, for price control, select V. Typically for all materials that are procured, not manufactured. All materials that are procured have a price control of V. And what is V? V stands for moving average price, or MAP. You could call it weighted average, or it's all the same thing. It's averaged out every time we procure. We're going to talk about it. So why don't we do something? Let's create a material, set the moving average price to 0 by default, and then start issuing some POs and see the difference. All right, so we're going to do MM01. Let's create a brand new material. Coffee beans, instead of 03, let's call it 06, so that we know that this is a different material and it's just starting off. Retail sector, and it's a raw material, right? So hit enter, and we are only interested in 3 views: basic data, purchasing data, accounting data. Hit OK. And for plant, as usual, we use the Chicago plant. And the coffee beans or bags, whatever, pound. Material group is food. Hit enter. And purchasing group is US1. Hit enter. And finally, the valuation class is 3000. And price control is V. V for moving average. And if you look at the possible options there, you'll see 2 different values. S for standard price, V for moving average price. And like I said, for all materials that are procured externally, always use V. V for moving average. Alright, so we're done with that. We're going to hit save. It's going to issue a warning. Ignore that. Click OK. Alright, coffee beans 06 is created. And of course, if you go back to coffee beans, hit enter, and go to the accounting view, enter plant Chicago 1, you'll see that the total stock is 0, the moving average price is 0, and the total value is 0. So nothing has been procured, we don't have stock yet, and the average price or the moving average price is 0. So let's keep this screen right there and go open another screen and do a purchase order, ME21N. Alright, doesn't matter which vendor, so just select some vendor, and of course the purchase order of US01, some purchase group, and company code US01. Select coffee beans, not 03 but 06, the material that we have just created. And we're going to do a quantity of 1, just 1. Of course, use a plant Chicago 1, enter, and we're going to put a price of $10, right? And hit save. Okay, a purchase order is created. Let's go quickly save. Control C. If you go back to the other window, you'll see that nothing has changed here. If you want to see the changes, this screen doesn't refresh automatically. So if you want to see the changes, you got to go back and then hit enter again. Go to accounting view, enter Chicago 1, hit enter. So that's how you refresh for changes. But over here, nothing has changed. The stock remains 0, value remains 0, moving average price remains 0. So that means, so irrespective of the number of purchase orders that you created, the value does not change. But when does the value change? Value changes during goods receipt. That's when we have received the goods, the physical inventory, and the stock goes up and a whole bunch of changes happen. Let's go do a goods receipt. What's the goods receipt? All right, the transaction for goods receipt is MyGo. So go to MyGo enter your purchase order, Control V, and storage location, raw material. Make sure you click item OK. So we're receiving a quantity of 1 at the price that we have seen in the purchase order, $10. Click Save. So material document is created. That means we have completed the process of receiving the goods. Go back to the other screen, the material master screen. Start all over again. Accounting 1, Chicago 1. You see that? The moving average price or the moving price is changed to $10, and the total value is $10, and the total stock is $1. So as soon as you finish the goods receipt, SAP has automatically updated the material master. With what? With the price, the quantity, and the total value. The total value is really simple, right? Price multiplied by the total stock gives you the total value. So let's catch up with the slides. So what have we done here? We have created a material master for 06. Set the price control to V, and of course, since we are creating this material for the first time, the moving average price is 0, and the total value is 0, total stock is 0, everything is 0. The first step that we have done is create a PO. And when you created the PO, after you saved it, you went back to the material master and nothing has changed. And after that, you have done the goods receipt. So when you have done the goods receipt, that's when the price has changed. The price changed, the stock changed, and the total value changed. The total value is basically a multiplication of this and this. So if you multiply both these fields, you get the total value, right? So if you do another purchase order at a price of $10 per kilo or pound, then effective average price is going to remain the same, right? So that scenario is simple. You can do it in your system and see the effect of it. The average price does not change, the quantity and value changes, obviously. But what if the price changes in the next purchase order? Again, let's do a purchase order. This time, let's do it for a quantity of 2, all right? And then we're going to do it for Chicago. Instead of a price of $10, let's do $20. Okay, and then hit save. Save your purchase order. Control C. Copy your purchase order. Go to MIGO and do a goods receipt against that purchase order. Do an item OK and click save. Let's go back to the material and see what happens. In the material master, go back and come again. Select the accounting view, click OK, select Chicago 1 plant, and what happens here? The stock has changed to 3, which is right. The first order was for a quantity of 1, the second order was for a quantity of 2. So 1 plus 2 equals 3. What's the total value? The total value is a multiplication of 16.67 multiplied by 3. So let's see if that is correct. Open a calculator and say 16.67 multiplied by 3. That's 50, right? The system seems to have calculated everything right. Now the question you might have is, how did it arrive at a price of 16.67, the moving average price? What's the formula used to arrive at that?